What's up, Anfield Agenda Nation? I've decided I'm going to use that now, James. Anfield Agenda Nation.
I like it.
From the start.
I like it. Anfield Agenda Nation. You could make like a badge that people can wear for that.
There you go. I mean? Look, merch already. He's only on 12 seconds and he's got the merch ideas already. We love it.
Idea shitting out my ass, Craig. You know, that's why do you think I'm on the channel? Do you know what I mean? I'm not just a pretty face.
Absolutely. Definitely. Far too much hair, though. I mean, I don't know how we got on with the head-to-heads this week, but I know I got a couple of scores right, I think. I
don't think I did.
I don't think I
got many of them, mate. So it's not being a good start for Old Ham Redmond, but still a long way to go. So I'm still confident. Be sure to tune into Mundo Sport.
Absolutely. Look, we've loads to get through. We'll talk about the Senegal manager's comments. We'll talk about transfers. We'll talk about the game. But beforehand, Christmas is coming, James. Is there anything in particular that you're asking Santa to put in your Christmas stocking?
I will tell you one thing and one thing only. And it might not be a specific device, but let's just say it involves the balls and it involves Manscaped.
Absolutely, James. With Christmas coming, Manscaped have got everybody covered. They deliver worldwide as well, mate, which is absolutely phenomenal. You can get 20% off. I know what you're saying to be 20% off, Craig, but the shipping, don't worry about that. We got you covered. Free shipping. Anything store-wide. WFM20 is our discount code. That will get you the 20% off and free shipping. Whether it's the Performance Package 4.0, which is everything. You get the boxer briefs, you get the shed travel bag, you get the Lawnmower 4.0, you get the Weed Whacker, which is your nose hair trimmer, or my new personal favourite, the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner to keep these luxurious locks.
Yes, no, Craig, we love it. We love it.
As good as they are. God. Yes, WFM20, my friends. Delighted to say, James, I was just saying this to you, we have extended our partnership with Manscaped into 2022. I love it.
Amazing. No, listen, that just means more months of us seeing the best Manscaped ads that you can probably see on YouTube. I've never seen anyone do it better. Manscaped sponsor like a lot of podcasts that I watch. I'm sorry, it's just not. There's no comparison. This is you're undefeated when it comes to it. So just for my entertainment purposes, and of course it helps your pockets as well. Brilliant, lads. Brilliant. Made up for you. Deserved.
I've got to find loads of new ways now to somehow link this conversation up. But look, that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's part of the challenge.
That's part of the job. That's why you're professional.
Before we get into the serious stuff, because there is some serious stuff to talk about tonight, Mr. Redmond, I want to just get your take on the game because Divock, come on, a little bit of Divock in my life.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry because even I forgot for a moment just how good Divock Origi was, and he is just insane. But I have always backed him to the point where I've always said if you give him a run of games, he will bring results. And this season, he looks leaner, he looks quicker again. I feel like he bulked up a little bit over the past few seasons. And then now he's gone back down to a weight that suits him. And it's just, his finishing technique is ferocious. And it's people like Messi who live in this time and they talk about, you know, what's the great things of why you're happy to be living in the present moment. And it's because he's sharing the same world as Divock Origi. It's an honour. And Craig, this is Divock Origi's world, and we're all just living in it.
I was guilty last season of
no, go on.
Hanging Origi out to dry. And I'll stand over those. I think Divock Origi was awful last season, but there is no denying that this man, this specimen, this human being, this god shows up when Jurgen Klopp needs him. He is, as the gentleman said there, the most clutch player we probably have. It just doesn't
in World Universal Football, not just what we have.
Important goals. Champions League final, Newcastle, Everton. This goal against Wolves. He's just a big game boy.
Barcelona, he scored 2 as well. These are multiple big games where he stepped up in the moment that we need it. What was that game looking like it was going to be? It looked like it was going to be another bottle job. Liverpool were going to fall short at the final hurdle when they can go ahead and overtake Chelsea. Even City got their win, which meant that win that we got was all the more important, and it was the last kick of the game. And I'm glad Jurgen Klopp finally brought him on with a good bit of time to go, because now he's got a goal against Preston, he's got a goal against West Ham, he scored against Wolves, got more Premier League goals than Harry Kane, by the way. And then even before that, he scored against Norwich. He has a great game against AC Milan. I can't think of a bad game besides maybe Preston, where I thought the whole team didn't really do too well, but he still scored. I can't think of a bad game that Origi's had. And I really do think now he's realised in his career he's not reached the level that he would have hoped to have been when he had signed for the club, and thinking about what he'd be like at this age, he hasn't reached that level. But the thing about Origi, he is someone. What do I always talk to you about, Craig? Different types of players. So you've got Salah. This is why Salah's so weird, because you know what he's going to do, but you still can't stop it. He's going to cut inside on the left. Mane, explosive, pacey. Origi, I always suggest that he's the actual only striker that we have at this club. Forget Firmino, because he's a false number 9 and he plays deeper than friggin' Bruno Fernandes, who's supposed to be a midfielder. Origi is actually someone who, when you talk about like the classic number 9, someone who, if you give them 100 chances, who's going to score the most? I think it's Divock Origi. And the way he holds off players and just shoots, the way he uses his physicality, he's actually a good finisher with both feet. It's a great option to have, and I wish that Klopp would exercise it just a little bit more. And I hope these performances is going to give Origi a real second chance at not just, being the player off the bench in his Liverpool career, but someone who can start week in, week out, score 20 goals a season, because I think he's got the potential to do that.
It's mad. I want to give myself a bit of a pat in the back for once. I called it when it came on. I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, Divock Origi's winning this game for Liverpool. I didn't think in the 94th minute I would still be right. I thought I was absolutely wrong. But I tell you what, for all the stick I've given him over the years, and I have given him a bit, I won't hide behind it, I knew as soon as that ball landed at his feet with back to goal yesterday where that ball was going. I had no doubt in my mind.
It was going in the back of the net. Because if you have Diogo Jota, who literally could have shot anywhere in the goal and he hit it right at the defenders, you had Mane, who had a big chance as well. Salah weren't really getting any clear-cut chances. They were set out well defensively. It just looked like it was going to be one of those days. Chelsea would have still been a point above us. Man City would have obviously been 4 points above us, I believe. So it just goes to show that what do you need in these title races? You need squad depth. And one thing I've massively, massively underestimated is just that of Liverpool. Even the way Minamino is now turning up and starting to perform better. Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's a good option. Naby Keita. The squad depth isn't as bad as we suggest. It's just they never really fit, a lot of them. And that's the only thing that we saw. But we saw when I can't emphasise enough how important it was to win that game, and Divock Origi was the man who stepped up. If we win the league by 2 points, you look back at that moment and say, well, that was a huge part. Because it will be. And that's why I love Origi, man, and he always is. He's a legend of the club. I don't like this. He's a cult hero. He scored in a Champions League semi-fucking-final. He scored in a Champions League final. He scored in derbies, he scored winners. He's a legend of the club, and I don't think he'll ever be a regular starter, but I believe there's a lot more big goals in his future.
Absolutely. I love, if he accepts the role, if he's happy, who are we to judge him? If he's happy to stay at Liverpool, take these opportunities,
and win trophies off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely, because he'll never have to buy a pint. I don't know if he drinks or not. If he does, or maybe he'll never have to buy a meal out again in Liverpool. Yeah. I think that's certain for Divock. We'll do something else on yesterday's game. Do you remember when we were doing the predictions during the week? Do you remember one thing I said to you about Chelsea? I said they were
about the run and about
they were having a wobble.
You were having a wobble.
They hadn't dropped much points. I was not shocked to see that result happen at the weekend against West Ham, because they're a good team.
I was definitely surprised, but I hear the point that you're saying. One thing that I think Chelsea have ran into, because they are a good team, they've got a good coach, but they haven't had that test of game after game after game after game with the intensity that us and Manchester City set on a week-to-week basis, where we just keep getting points and we're just up there. It's always pressure. You're never safe in the Premier League. The only time we felt safe was when we won the league, but that came after losing the league to 2 points, accumulating 97 points. Second place, 97 points, lost one game all season, and it weren't enough. But then the season after, we knew we had to keep that level. We have that experience, and that's the difference between us and Man City. It's all good doing it in the Champions League and winning individual battles, which is why I think Chelsea have a good chance to win that competition. But can you handle the game after game after game in December? And I believe their squad's overrated. I don't think it's bad. I think they've got some great players, but it is overrated in some of the players that they do possess. They haven't got a better squad than us or City, in my opinion. It's more expensive. But if you look at their starting 11 compared to ours, I can only think of maybe Thiago Silva, who gets into our starting 11. And, yeah, I can't think of any of that.
I think maybe Mount would knock on the door of getting
No,
in the attacking mid role if we were to utilise somebody in the front foot. Actually,
but
before I forget, I was talking about roles yesterday, and again, I want to bring up David's bet here in a sec. Actually, we'll go to David's bet first. What do you think? I want your advice on this as well. Craig, do you think Arsenal beat Everton tomorrow? Because as it stands, he's on for £578 with the need for Juventus and Arsenal to win. Juventus are 1-0 up. So look, we take it to the bank that Juventus get that one, but Arsenal to beat Everton tomorrow, it's difficult this because Rafa's under serious pressure.
But he's got no players.
Yeah, and I mean,
Arsenal.
I think you're in with a good show, David, but I don't want to be responsible for you not winning your bet. But I hope you
David, I always like to go with what will give you the best possible chance, and I think you'd be kicking yourself if you edged Everton to win that game. Kicking yourself because it's very unlikely. And if they do win, I'm so sorry because obviously that's just the worst advice that I could have gave you. But I like to go for logistics, and logistics tells me don't ever bet on Everton for your sake. There you go.
There you go. I like to think he probably already has the bet on, and he was just hoping we give him some reassuring words.
I'm pretty sure that Arsenal will win that game.
There you go. There you go. We love it. And then Everton move closer towards the relegation zone. But look, there was a point I was trying to make when I thought about Mount there and midfield. I want to give a shout out to Jurgen Klopp yesterday because I think the substitution to bring off Jordan Henderson and bring on Divock Origi was inspired because we went basically to a 4-2-4. And I think that's what created us the little bit of space, the little bit of confusion in the back line that ultimately led us to the goal. So shout out to the gaffer.
Shout out to Jurgen Norbert Klopp indeed. I love that, man. Even the way that he said to Origi, just be Divock. And do you want me to tell you why that's good? Do you want me to tell you why that's great? Because he must know Divock Origi doesn't thrive off you telling him loads of information about tactics and make sure you're here at this time and stuff like that. He knows his players is the point that I'm trying to make. And he knows that just saying those words that are so powerful in such a certain tone, it's going to make an impact. And what did it do? It made an impact. You can see that Divock and the coach have a good relationship. But of course, there'll be that professional side where Origi might want to play more. But I think even Origi knows that he should have been given more chances, but he had to work hard for those chances, not just, as crazy as it sounds, just getting big winning goals all the time. You actually have to play well, and that's one thing Origi can struggle to do at times. But he's just phenomenal from start. The way, like, Craig, you've got to understand, and this is a credit to Klopp and the coaching staff, even throughout the seasons where we've played beautiful football, scored loads of goals, had a great defence, our football is the most precise, it is the most effective that I have seen it in a long, long time. Every single pass. Yes, we have bad spells, and that where we tend to drop off, but we grow into the game, we watch some beautiful football on a week-to-week basis. It could be the best football you're ever going to see in your life. So please, people, enjoy it while it lasts, because these type of things do not last forever. And right now, the precision and the effectiveness of our football, scoring 3 or 4 goals every single week, and then when we don't, we're still scraping those type of wins. It's marvellous, man, and you've got to put all the credit to the manager, because he's built this over seasons.
I can't agree with you more. Someone asked me earlier on a watch-along I was doing of the Villa game. They said, Craig, I'm young. What was it like being a Liverpool fan in the 90s? And you know what, mate? It was grim at times. I mean, under Roy Evans, we played some very good football. But yeah, it wasn't great. I didn't grow up through a series of Liverpool glory. I mean, there was winning little trophies along the way, but no consistency. On the gaffer, let me bring this up and see what we think, because I'm a little bit annoyed by comments from Aliou Cisse, the Senegal manager. He said, I respect Liverpool, but not Klopp, who undermines African football events. He is where he is today because of African footballers. He was losing every final until Salah, Mane, Matip came to his rescue with his first ever major European final. I don't know where this has come from. I don't know what has put a bee in Cisse's bonnet, but let me say one thing. That's the symbiotic relationship. They've all helped each other there. You know, Klopp's helped them, they've helped Klopp, but I don't like those comments.
I'll intercept, just dead quick. What was Mo Salah before he joined Liverpool? What was Mane before he joined Liverpool? What was Joel Matip before he joined Liverpool? He won a Premier League winner, won a Champions League winner. So what these players who weren't doing these things, so these players who have never really won anything major in football were at pretty standard clubs. No offence to Roma, because big club but not as big as Liverpool, not competing for Champions League season in season out. So where's the logic there? And then where's the logic in where's this came from? Because what I think it's came from is the comments that was made the other week where the journalist pressed Jurgen Klopp, and it's just been twisted. This is what the journalists always like to do. Not all journalists, there's some pretty good ones, but the majority, they want to create a story, they want to get a certain reaction, and I think that was most certainly provoked, and that's why he's read a few words of an article and he probably just misunderstood. To say that Jurgen Klopp only wins things without African players, I just want to ask another question. Dortmund, he won the league twice, got to a Champions League final, which he lost to Bayern Munich, who steal all of his players. How many African players was in that Dortmund team? Because I remember Marco Reus being one of the main men, Lewandowski, Mario Götze. Don't really remember many African players being in that specific side. So that point that he made there also is rather flawed. So not only is he wrong about the players are helping Klopp and he just completely dismisses the fact Klopp has helped them, but he actually did win trophies. He won Bundesligas. Listen, you're the Senegal manager, and you couldn't even win the frigging thing against Algeria. Was it Algeria, whatever country Mahrez plays for?
Yeah, it was. Excuse me, yeah, it is Algeria.
Apologies if I've got that wrong, because my knowledge in terms of geography is really not on point. But I just think everything he said there is just out of rage, and I don't think Klopp has disrespected the tournament. I think he has immense respect for African players, otherwise Salah wouldn't like him, Mane wouldn't like him. And yeah, just all that sounds a load of nonsense to me. But like I said, there's levels to this.
Yeah, so it all came from, if we're guessing, it comes back to those comments. Jurgen Klopp talking about international breaks and how it's impacted, and he said, thank God there's no more international breaks coming up, because he was thinking of these built-in breaks. And then he said, oh, there's a little tournament called the African Cup of Nations, as if in sarcasm, like, oh, he was being so sarcastic to himself, as in like me saying, oh, there's a little thing like the Champions League final. You know what I mean? It was misinterpreted. Something was lost in translation. But to say he's no respect for Jurgen Klopp, I just don't like that. I don't like it at all. I mean, he is a very respectful man, and look, it rubbed me up the wrong way. And obviously, I'm being defensive about our manager here, but yeah. I mean, it is.
I just think it's one big misunderstanding. I don't think it's anything that serious, but people just love to cause drama, and then, you know, he was being asked the question in a certain way. So it's probably not even all the Senegal manager's fault. I just think he's speaking on a situation he's not fully educated on, so he's just made a sort of misjudgment when it comes to our manager. You can tell him, why would Klopp not respect it when he's like, you know, he said it himself, he's got African players within his team, Naby, Joe, Matip, Salah and Mane. So I don't understand why he wouldn't respect it. And I just think when he's talking about a manager, or when he's talking about the season after a Premier League game, he's allowed to be upset if there's a tournament mid-season.
Especially a tournament that there are still some issues around with regards to when players are going to be released. And then there was, you know, it was a tournament that was moved because, I believe, of weather in the host nation. But look, it is what it is. We wish the lads well with the AFCON. We want them to come back healthy and be successful. So moving on and talking about somebody who's going to be heading off to the AFCON, some positive comments from Mohamed Salah, and I love this. He said, I've said it several times, if the decision is down to me, I want to stay in Liverpool, but the decision is in the hands of the management to solve the issue. Your financial value shows how much the club appreciates you and that they would do anything for you to stay. So again, James, look, we've no doubts in our minds that Mohamed Salah wants to stay at Liverpool Football Club. I think this is him batting the question back to the upper echelons of the club. And look, they do need to get their finger out because it is dragging on too long.
Welcome to the world of negotiating. Sometimes you've got to say things where it'll speed up the process and stuff like that. But one thing I know, and I just like to cut out all the business bullshit and just see the player for what he is. Does Salah love Liverpool Football Club? Yes. Does he work the hardest probably in training? Week in, week out, yes. That's what it looks like based on the results on the pitch. He's always trying to score. He's relentless. He's actually a really world-class footballer. And even though the wages might seem crazy to some people, if I said to you, would you pay 400 grand to 500 grand a week for a player who will get you a Premier League, he will get you a Champions League, and he'll still be good going into his 30s, you bite your hand off for it. You really, really would. Don't say you wouldn't. Because you're comparing his wages now to what it will be, so it seems like a big increase, but like I said, I've just told you all the achievements he has at Liverpool. Salah not signing a contract extension would be one of the most criminal, stupid, naive things that I've ever seen this club do, and they've done some pretty naive things, but there's just sometimes you've got to bite the bullet, you know, these wage budgets and all that, like, so just give him what he wants. It's a very oversaid term, but give him what he wants, because he deserves it, man, and he makes the team better, and Salah's the only one who comes out on social media and stuff like that, and he means what he says. So like last season, he was like, best believe we're going to do everything we can to get this top 4. And he said it in a certain way, like he just knew it was going to happen. He had a post just after the last game, which can't remember the exact quotations, but it's like, listen, we're coming for this title. Like, we're ready for this. He's a winner. You want winning mentality within your squad. So, him more than anyone, I think it's important we give him a contract. I really, really do. I think he's maybe our most important player just based on the aura that he gives the rest of the team.
I've tried to look at this from as many potential perspectives as I could, and every which way I look at the Salah situation, I see a player who I think has actually been reasonable with his demands, because if you look at, I don't like to use the word demands actually, sorry, let me go back on that. I think he's been entirely reasonable with his requests of wages, because he could go to PSG, to Real Madrid, to somewhere else and get more money. Even if Liverpool agree with what he's asking for, he could still get more money than that. Look at the money that some of the players around the world are making right now, and they aren't putting up Mohamed Salah numbers. Outside of Benzema, Lewandowski, and probably Bernardo Silva, who's probably the informed player in the Premier League at the minute, if we're being fair. He's having a cracking season at Manchester City. He's right up there, man. I don't get it. I don't understand the need to stall. Surely we're not stalling because we want to save the difference of, 150 grand a week for a few weeks. Surely that can't be why we're delaying it. I just don't know. It's baffling me, and it worries me.
No one gets the numbers that Mohamed Salah gets you. Well, maybe there's a few. Haaland, who we're not going to get. Lewandowski, who we're not going to get. Maybe add 1 or 2 more players. That Bernardo Silva won't get you those numbers. I'll never see him getting Salah numbers. He might do things better than Salah, but he's not one who's going to get that. And now Salah's improving his overall game. It's not like a situation where, we're giving him a contract just because he's done great things for the club. He's getting better. Seeing his assists this season, he's creating for the team. If he doesn't score, he gets an assist. He's insane. It really, I can't believe it's got to this point, Craig. I don't know about you, but how do you go so long not giving your most important? And when you see Man City giving players like De Bruyne their contract when they want
Salah
it.
mentioned this, by the way. Salah mentioned what De Bruyne do. Yeah, he's spot on.
And he should have.
Well, maybe it was Remy Abbas. One of them mentioned it and said, he looks... Oh, no, it was a report in the paper that said Salah has noted how quickly it was sorted for Manchester City with Kevin De Bruyne. Probably, and I will go a little bit further to say, James, as good as De Bruyne is right now, he is not as impactful to Manchester City as Salah is to Liverpool. I will go as far as to say that. I think Salah is more important to us than De Bruyne is to them at the minute.
There's very few players who are as impactful for their team than what Salah is for us. I know we've got Van Dijk who's important and Trent who's important and all, but Salah is the difference of games being 2-0, 1-0, 2-0 to 4-0, 5-0. And when you've got a player like that at your disposal, you've got to do everything you can to keep him, because who's going to replace Salah's numbers? Only unrealistic options. So, business-wise, marketing-wise, he's the number 1 Muslim athlete in the world, by the way. What's not good to have that in your team, marketing-wise? It's beautiful as well. It's great because, he really, you can see that Salah, obviously he's into his religion, but what I'm trying to say is, he's a proper Muslim, he follows everything, and it's great to see, but he's a great example, is the point that I'm trying to make. It's good to have people like that within your team, and he's a good player. I just I don't see any one negative side to extending his contract, and as you said, adding an extra 150 grand a week.
Fingers crossed it's done soon. I mean, I think we're all thinking, are they waiting for the January announcement kind of thing to try and appease fans, because we know we're probably not going to do much business in it. But
tell me about it.
Speaking of Salah and goals, first game for Liverpool yesterday against Wolves, outside of the Chelsea game that we hadn't scored 2 this season in a league game. Man.
I was thinking that. Listen, We had to be nice to someone, and even still they got the goal conceded. But we could have scored 2 or 3. When you really look at some of our biggest chances, we still could have. So what I'm convinced about, even though it was not anywhere close to our greatest performance all season, we still had the chance to be able to win that game. And sometimes the ball just doesn't go in the back of the net. It happens. So if we played really bad and we had no big chances and we caused them no threat, then yeah, I'd be sitting here much more upset, and we got away with one. But I think we were easily the team that deserved to win the game. And as I said, we could have still scored that many. So it doesn't give me any fear that we're not going to go in the next 5 or 10 games and we're just going to be scoring 1 goal and 2 goals from now on. I believe we've still got that 4 or 5 goal streak in us, because like I said before, the style of play, it's the precision and the effectiveness of our play that we've never really seen before, and no one can stop it.
Nobody can stop it. Let's go at that point. Nobody can stop it.
No one can stop it.
I remember thinking to myself during that Wolves game yesterday, how lucky, fortunate, spoiled, whatever you want to call it, we are, because I said it during the watch along. I'd hate to have a season ticket to go watch Wolves and that style of football if that's how they play every week. I mean, give me Brendan Rodgers' 13-14 team, give me this team, give me Roy Evans, Liverpool, give me that swashbuckling, attacking, we'll score more than you type of team. I mean, Wolves were effective in what they did, and they worked their asses off yesterday. I'll give them that. Yeah. But ultimately, we deserved to win that game. We did deserve to win it. The goal got lucky at the timing of it, but we deserved to win it. And as you said, just to kind of circle back to when you started it, don't take these for granted. This group of players, this form, these goals. It's not normal.
This manager. Well, I do not know how we ended up with Jurgen Klopp, but I can nearly put my money on it. We're never going to get a manager like that again. There's no manager that will have the perfect combination of emotion, love for the club, tactically aware, just everything, the way he celebrates with the fan. We're never going to have that again. There's very few. Klopp or a Jurgen Klopp only comes not even once in a lifetime, probably once every other lifetime. So we're very fortunate to have everything that we're seeing right now, because these memories are just memories we're going to keep old forever. Even through the dark times, these are the times that we're going to talk about. So it's brilliant, lads, and I love it, and it allows us to be dead happy on communities like this in Anfield Agenda.
Amen. And here's a great one from Puskas is a goal. Premier League goal scoring records 106. We're at 44 after 15 games. Could be a record. Wow. That is...
Imagine if we smashed that record. That'd be a great record to have, especially for this team.
23 games left to go. We need, 64 goals, if my maths is right. Is it 64 goals, something like that?
Isn't it 56? Oh, sorry, for 106. I'm thinking 100. Yeah. No, it'll be something along those lines. That'd be great if we can go ahead and get that record, but Liverpool just need to keep doing what they are doing, and the goals will come, because that just seems to be the way it is. The goals will come because we've got too many good players not to score goals. Bear in mind, we've still been beating teams like 4-0, 5-0 without players like Bobby Firmino. But do you know one thing that I hope doesn't happen? Firmino comes back and then Origi just never gets game time again, unless it's like a League Cup game. But now we're in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, so I don't even see Origi maybe even starting in that game. He might get a few minutes, but there's no guarantee that he's 100% going to start, even though that's his tournament. So I just hope Jurgen starts to notice that the players he's got in his squad depth are actually really, really good, and they can be of more use than certain players who usually start against certain opposition. Does that make sense, or have I just made that sound like a scrambled egg?
Everything you say makes sense to me, my man. Even if it doesn't make sense, it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? We're here, James. We're here.
We're here. We're in the zone.
Love this. Thank you, Zachary, for the super chat. Shout out to
Zachary.
the 2 favourite Europeans besides Jesus Christ. Now, just to get technical on you, I'm a European. He's not.
I'm not.
You're not, sir.
I'm Scouser-Geese.
I like it. We'll take it. We'll adopt you. Your name's Redmond. You've got to have Irish in you somewhere. So we'll adopt you, James.
Exactly. That's an Irish name. So and all Scousers.
My mother's maiden
name. Oh, is it?
Redmond, yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. You've told me this actually. Yeah, you have. You've told me. No, and I swear, like, most Scousers have got, like, Irish blood somewhere in the family line. We had a conversation the other day, actually, and I was absolutely baffled, but basically Craig confirmed the news to me that Ireland, they spend money with euros, but I didn't know that was the case. I thought you just had, like, Irish pounds or something like that, kind of like the way Scotland do. I knew they were in the UK. Ireland's not in the UK, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah. I knew they were in the UK. I knew they were in the UK, and then I go and ask it if they're in the UK. But what's it called? Yeah, the money thing blew me head off, Craig. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fully thought you spent the same dough as us.
No, we're defo on the Euros, mate. I can promise you that one.
Just without the Queen on the front of it. I even said, like, have you got the King of Ireland there? But there's not even a King of Ireland, is there? So we had many brain farts in a short space of time. What was about 5 minutes after the stream.
I always get them, mate. I said to you the other day, I never connected the dots for banoffee as banana and toffee at one point. I had to say to my wife, like, maybe a year ago, oh, that gets its name because, and then she's like, "You." What did
like over time, it finally clicks.
Yeah, absolute idiot. Where there was another good comment in there I wanted to get up. Oh, from Cameron. Let's talk transfers. Hey, Craig, 2 important names considering we need an attacker in January: Schick or Vlahovic. Now, I would say that I don't think Patrick Schick or Dusan Vlahovic, either of them, are what we need. That would be my opinion, James. And I think Vlahovic, I've seen links to Antonio Conte and Spurs as a potential Harry Kane replacement. I had seen another club linked with him, but for me, Schick, definitely not. I think that's just Euros fever still and a bit of a hangover there. But Vlahovic, I mean, I know the lads at LFC transfer room have done a good bit of scouting on him and his numbers and his suitability, and I think they've come to the conclusion as well. Not likely, but I think, James, 60 million was mentioned at one point, or maybe even 80 million for Vlahovic from Fiorentina.
No, not for that money. If that's the money you're 100% paying for Vlahovic, I wouldn't even pay 60. I'd rather that money go on Rafinha and then do what you've kind of been doing, use the front 3 wingers. It's good to have a number 9 in the squad. Doesn't mean we need a number 9 to start week in, week out. And if we do go out and buy a number 9 for 80 million, then the best believe they're going to have to play. So I don't see a case where we go and get Vlahovic. I do think we are more interested in a winger. Some people have brought up Adama Traore, which I think he'd do great in our system for sure, but I'd rather someone like Rafinha, to be dead honest, and then maybe in years' time get a Doku who's got a higher ceiling than Adama Traore, because I just have too much suspicion over Traore's end product. That's the one thing that I know on a week-to-week basis it'd annoy me. Even with Mane recently, some of his chances that he's missing, even though I think he's had a great season, I do think he's still missing chances. That really frustrates me and it puts the team in a bit of shit. It happened against West Ham. He missed a big chance there. It happened against Wolves. He missed a big chance there. Like, Mane hasn't really been as clutch as we would say for Origi. So it just goes to show that you do need players like that. But that's why the front 3, the way we play is they change between each other and they all move around. Like 1 minute Mane's playing in the middle, Jota's on the left, and then they'll switch. That's an effective system. So it's good to have a number 9 there, but we've got Origi, man. We don't even need Vlahovic. Origi's there to, he's at the wheel. Origi is doing the bits. Give Origi a chance. Hashtag give Origi a chance. Origi for president.
I tell you what, if we signed Adama Traore, I think I'd just quit YouTube before I'm kicked off it, because I would get so.
Would you hate that signing?
I'd nothing against Adama as a player. The frustration levels that I'd end up going through with the lack of I would lose my mind. I know I'd end up getting in trouble. I'd say something stupid and I'd end up getting in trouble because I would be, I mean, love what he does up until he gets to the 18-yard box. And at that point, it all breaks down.
It'd be too much, lads. It'd be too much for me to... Plus, he plays on the right predominantly, so I don't understand where he'd really get into our team. I don't think he'd play week in, week out, and you'd be paying a lot of money for him. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too keen on that one myself.
Here's another lovely super chat. Why aren't people talking about Salah's assist to Origi? I absolutely love James when he says Mohamed Salah and not Mo Salah. There you go. I mean,
the way I'd have the full pronunciation, that's funny that you realise that. I think he deserves it.
For me, just Salah will have so many more amazing moments and so many more amazing goals. Just let Divock have this moment. I mean, the assist
that was Origi's moment.
The first touch was beautiful.
Oh, no, it was brilliant. To be honest, I contribute that goal mostly to Virgil van Dijk. But of course, Salah has still got to touch it down. He's still got to get away from the player, pass the ball at the right time, and he's done all them things exquisitely. But we expect that from Mo Salah. Origi, we expect him to score last-minute goals, but if he doesn't do it, you can't fume at him because you're giving him 25 minutes to go ahead and score. It's not the easiest thing to do in football. Sometimes you do need a full game. But in those big moments where it's a lot of pressure and, kind of like the adrenaline's running through you because you know that you're needed in that moment, Origi stepped up and that was his moment. So from the world-class pass to Virgil van Dijk, to the great touch to Mo Salah, to the ball in, the way Origi held off that man, switched onto his left and put that ball in the net with the precision, no other player could do it that day. So you've got to give the credit to Origi, in my opinion, because Jota couldn't do it, Mane couldn't do it, even Salah couldn't score on the day, and we know that he's been bagging for fun this season. So, but at least he's still creating. That's a great point and a great super chat. At least he's still creating. When he doesn't score, he assists. That's one thing that I've always said about Mo Salah. If his creativity improves and his defensive track and back, he's doing all them things and more. He's the perfect attacker.
Yeah, I seen a comparison the other day of all the top strikers, like the Benzemas, the Lewandowskis at the minute. And none of them are putting up assist numbers like Mo is. None of them have as many assists.
Benzema's got okay assists, but it's in worse leagues. They're not even in. This is the highest level of football, and Salah is doing this on a week-to-week basis against the best teams.
Not against Mickey Mouse teams either. Look back to the goal against Manchester City, and what an amazing goal that was as well. He does it all the time. He's absolutely top tier. Something else I wanted to bring up there. We're talking about Mo. What else was there? Something in the chat.
My man.
No. This always happens to me, James. I always forget.
Schick and Vlahovic.
No, we've done that. I think we've done the Schick and Vlahovic. What else? Let's talk about Rafinha for a minute. Let's talk about Rafinha.
I'll talk about Rafinha every week.
Because I know you are to Rafinha almost what I am to Jude Bellingham with regards to the propaganda. You think he's the man, and everything seems to be piecing together for this one except the fee. So we have Deco talking about the possibility of Rafinha then moving on in the summer. We have the fact that he is an agent, obviously, or he's part of the Guest Review agency. We've got a good relationship with them. It's easy to see how this transfer comes about, but that figure of 60 million that Leeds may be looking for, I'd like to think there's a little bit of wiggle room there, because I don't think it's an absolutely unrealistic price, but I know the way we are as a club. We're going to try and find some way to not have the headline figure be 60 million quid, even if it eventually gets there.
Yeah, I just think, my point that I make is that I think Rafinha is good enough to add something to this Liverpool squad to where he could win us games just with a bit of individual brilliance, and he's got something different to our other wingers. But at the same time, Rafinha's he's not 19 or 20, he's at a perfect stage where he probably is looking for a move. He's 24, I believe, so that means we can still improve him, and also he's Premier League proven. Not to mention, Leeds aren't doing that well. So sometimes if a player does push a move, they can kind of make some sort of an impact, and we've got, well, obviously he's leaving Edwards, but we've still got a good board of director team, I believe, because it's the same people in the same line, and I think 50-60 million for a player of that calibre isn't even too bad. But if they get, let's say Leeds hypothetically got relegated, or if they were there and thereabouts, that price could lower, especially if Rafinha doesn't have a great season. So I don't know his contract situation, but you don't want to have a player who's unhappy, because what's going to happen there? Rafinha stays, his value goes lower, and then you sell him in 2 or 3 seasons for much less than what you could have got now. That's the way Liverpool should pitch it, in my opinion. That's the way you should go ahead and try and get Rafinha, and he'll make you a better squad for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about it now, the options available to Jurgen Klopp, and another good player from set pieces. And I have to say, I've always have a soft spot for a good left footer, James. I always do. There's not enough of them. I think,
so he'd fit right in.
I think 10% of the world are left footers, but I think 80% of my adoration of footballers come from left footed players.
And he's completely different to anything that we've got. So he'd come in, he'd settle in fine, the manager could make him better, and we've got ourselves an exciting player. This is the type of play, kind of like Naby, in a way where the kids watch Naby Keita and they think, he's sick, Naby Keita, because he scores world-class goals, he's got great dribbling and stuff like that. Rafinha would be another one of those. He'd be like a fan favourite for the youngsters.
Absolutely. Right, what else have we got in the chat? Let's go. His contract situation. I don't actually know Rafinha's contract situation off the top of my head. I'm sure somebody can go on the transfer market or something and find that out for us when his contract is up. I want to get your thoughts on Stevie G's result today before we go on to more Liverpool stuff. Big win against Leicester City. And I wonder, James, battle of one former Liverpool legend against a former Liverpool manager. I wonder if the pressure is starting to mount on Brendan Rodgers and his tenure at Leicester City.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he has done so well with Leicester. Like, everyone's saying, he shouldn't have bottled top 4. Like, fair enough, he shouldn't have. But at the same time, it was with Leicester. If I said to you your Premier League predictions at the start of the season, please, I bet you Leicester wouldn't have been in there. Not last season, the season before. Maybe this season, because they won the FA Cup and stuff like that. But in the previous seasons, I don't think Leicester had a necessary right to go ahead and get top 4. They should have been there and thereabouts because they have built a good squad over time. But think about what Brendan Rodgers took over Leicester from. He took them over from, was it Puel? I can't remember his name. But either way, the manager who had them nearly 18th.
I can't remember.
No, I think it was Klopp. I can't remember. Fucking yesterday, so I don't know how I'm going to remember that. Either way, they were in near enough the relegation zone, and he's took them to an FA Cup. I understand it's not a Claudio Ranieri Premier League. I really get that, but it's still an FA Cup. And then he won the Community Shield as well, by the way. So, do you then? Because you asked me the question: does Brendan Rodgers feel pressure? Maybe, but I think Leicester are not stupid enough to just throw him out when he's just having one bad patch. Things can go wrong. Now, circumstances could change that opinion. If I knew more about the ins and outs, then maybe I'd say something else. But from what I do know, and if I'm a Leicester fan, I'm persistent with Brendan Rodgers. I think it's kind of like us last season saying Jurgen Klopp out. If during that bad spell that we had, and we were nearly gonna get friggin' Europa Conference League. Now people will say, but Klopp's done way more for us than what Brendan's done for them. Not necessarily. When you think about standards,
FA Cup is a huge
when you think
achievement
for a club for Leicester, because you've got to think about it's not like they're Barcelona or whatever. That's a huge achievement, as you've just mentioned, and I believe it would be silly to let him go. And I think the circumstances are very comparable. And I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. So there's no guarantee you're going to get better.
Here's one from a Leicester fan. We need a set-piece coach. We haven't got one at Leicester. I mean, there are flaws in Rodgers' management style, I will say. I mean, Europe has been his Achilles heel. And I think that will ultimately be what stops him getting another huge job, or at least succeeding in another huge job. Not to underplay the size of Leicester, because they're a football club headed in the right direction. Premier League winners as well, FA Cup winners, Charity Shield winners, I believe, as well, with some good players in there. So, I wonder. But Stevie G, back to winning ways. 4 games, 3 wins, 1 loss against Manchester City. Nothing to be embarrassed about, but good start for Stevie G.
And then people were trying to compare him to fucking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Frank Lampard. Don't do such disrespectful shit. Do you want me to tell you why? Because Steven Gerrard, he's someone who's actually got a world-class mentality for sure, and he's got a winning mentality, which always helps. But the number one thing that he's got is he's smart, he's intelligent, he knows the right steps to take at the right time to take them. He knows the clubs that he's going to and what position they're in. He's not just joining clubs because it's a job. I feel like Frank Lampard took Chelsea because it was just too good to be true, but it weren't the smartest decision to make, and hindsight proved that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the same. He had a good little winning streak at the start, but he didn't really know what he was doing. He proved to be a very useless man when it came to tactics, let's just say that, and also very overhyped on his, being kind to players. Like, fucking hell, well done, give him a certificate for being kind. But the manager of Manchester United Football Club with no trophies, is that really what you want? He goes to Rangers, wins them their first trophy. Before that, he was at Liverpool's under 23s or under 18s.
And he took Michael Beale with him, didn't he, up to Rangers as well?
Yes, he did. And that's the thing, they built together. And Michael Beale, in terms of choosing his coaching staff, Michael Beale is one of the best that he could have chose, because as a tactical coach, he's very, very good, and he helps Gerrard massively. So he's chose the right support staff, he's chose the right steps from going to a sit, because you've still got to learn the basics of managing, and you can do that at under 23s. Then he goes to Rangers, a club that was going on the up and stuff like that, but still needed a good young manager with ambition. Then he goes ahead and gets them invincible. Not just winning the league, he got them an invincible season. Now he's at Aston Villa, and look what he's doing. They had 5 defeats before he came in. Now he's got 3 out of 4, and he gave City a good game. So, he's doing well.
He is doing well. What was it I was about to say there? There was another thing I was going to talk about. We're talking about Villa, we're talking about that, we're talking about Rangers. God almighty, what was it? There was a good point I wanted to bring up. Oh yes, there's one name. This is what it was. There's one name that we haven't spoken about for a while, who I think would fulfill all the boxes we need to tick at Liverpool, but I haven't mentioned his name because I can't see it happening. Now, it's not Haaland. A lot of people are probably think I'm going to jump to Haaland, who would be a great fit, but it's Chiesa. Chiesa would be, to me, he's just, again, you look at him as another Jota, Bobby Firmino, Klopp type of player who can play through the centre, can play in a wide position, and has the attitude that I think would take it to make it at Liverpool Football Club. And I wonder what's going on at Juve, James. What way that will play out. I'm not sure if you're fully up to speed on the situation at the minute, but there's investigations going on into some economic activity at Juventus. Worst case scenario, and I don't think I'll get to that, could be another relegation to Serie B. But certainly maybe their bookkeeping has been a little bit creative. And if that's the case, and their money worries are a little bit worse than we've been led to believe, and they don't get Champions League football,
this is how I. You never know. My twin could be joining the club. Here's what I'm gonna say. I know I don't love Rafinha as much as you love Jude Bellingham, because I would take Chiesa over Rafinha, and I don't think there's anyone you take over Bellingham. So just to be straight, Chiesa is my number one option. If I could choose anyone, like we don't talk about him on the show, which is why I haven't brought it up. But now, for those who are watching live on Anfield's Agenda, you know that he's my number one option because you've just said it. I'll just be echoing what you're saying, Craig, in terms of the attributes that he possesses, the mentality that he's got. I think he'd fit into the squad very, very well, and he's a good age. He's got good experience. He's still doing well in what's a rather average Juventus side at the moment. He did great in the Euros. Like, all these things and more. He seems like a big game player. All these things and more is why I love Chiesa. And if there's any way, and I weren't too clued up on the situation at Juventus, and I didn't know the ins and outs and stuff. Now that you've told me that, take advantage. Because as one ship sinks, one has to rise and go over the rivers. That was a terrible, terrible analogy. But listen, it's been one of those weeks, people. Give me a break. That being said, we need to take advantage and go and take their biggest assets. And Chiesa is probably their biggest asset. So
I love this from Jamrock. Chiesa's Jota on steroids.
They're actually different players, though. They're very different players. Jota is better with both feet, and he's probably better with his head. But then Chiesa, he's got explosive pace. He's a great finisher off his right-hand side. He's someone who will give me confidence for the next 10 years, him being an half front three. And I think he will stay at Liverpool.
Be honest, he'll give you something else as well.
He might do, Craig. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, I said there was a few messy sitting rooms yesterday after Origi's goal. Another name that people keep bringing up to me and I keep batting away because I don't think he's good enough, but he keeps putting up numbers, is Jonathan David. He scored again for Lille.
Jonathan David, he's alright. No, he's good. He wouldn't be number one option, but I always say this, like, we can have options in terms of our transfers and whatnot, but he'd still be a good player to bring. Very similar to Divock Origi, but with more pace, good finisher. When you're getting numbers like that for the team that he's in, at the age that he is, there's no reason why not to go for it. It's just everything depends. But no, he will be a good player for sure. And I don't look into this, but he's in a farmers league. Like, French league still got good players. So if you're doing well in that league, look how many players have came to the Premier League and done well from that league. I believe he would be a good signing, but it's just, would he be number one? I'm not too sure, because he's a more out-and-out number 9. And why get him? And I mean this seriously, not just because he's just scored a 94th minute winner. When you've got Origi, well, because he's younger, he's going to be a backup. He's going to be a backup. And maybe he won't, but I don't think he brings a hell of a lot more to the table besides potential than what Origi does. And I just think you're spending a lot of money for what doesn't significantly improve you now.
Hey, our friends in Ella, how are you, my man? Hope you're well.
Yes, now Ella, hope you're well.
I said my man, my apologies. I'm so used to saying my man, everybody I speak to. I say it to everybody, my apologies, Ella. I hope you're well.
Nah, I'm like that with lads. I say to some of my girl mates sometimes, I always go, "You're alright, lads," and then they're like, "I'm not alright."
I do it all the time. I do it to my own daughter. Ella's a massive Bohemians fan, by the way, so little bit bad. Is
that an Irish team?
Yeah, they're the ones who, Gerrard, the young keepers on loan over here in Ireland. He just won the FA Cup. Our version of the FA Cup with St. Pat's, but they beat Bohemians in the final on penalties. So, yeah, it was a tough one for Ella to take.
Who's the best team in Ireland?
At the minute, Shamrock Rovers.
Shamrock Rovers, right, I'm on to them. Who's the best player in the league?
Oh, God, that's a question that I will leave to the chat because I don't watch enough League of Ireland, mate, to let you know.
Oh, fair enough.
The chat will be on it, and
I was just intrigued because I don't know many players. I don't know many players who play in
Well,
that
as an
league,
example, Gavin Bazunu played for Shamrock Rovers before Manchester City took him on.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Yeah, and he's been linked with Liverpool, actually, in the media today. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know why, because we have Caoimhín Kelleher, as you like to call him, the Irish Iker Casillas, and I don't see...
In his prime, yeah? In his prime. Kelleher's boss, lads. I love Kelleher so much. Like, do you know if there's a way that he can be the Origi to what, like, Origi is up front, where he just chips in and has a great performance and he's happy to do that? I'd love that. Do you like the way Nat Phillips, the way he's happy to just jump in every once in a while? Kelleher goes into, like, that category, because when he does step in, with the very few minutes that he's given, he makes the most of it.
I still need your help on the best player in the League of Ireland, though, so there we go.
Ooh,
Here's one from Jamrock, and I read it a minute ago, but I think you put in the wrong name at first, but he said Fiorentina want teams to deal with them for Chiesa, because is he on a 2-year loan with option to buy or obligation to buy or something like that?
Yeah, I'm still confused over that. Like, I've always just associated him as a Juventus player, but apparently, like, his parent club is still Fiorentina. But then I've also been thinking, but I'm sure Juventus have already said, like, we're definitely going to buy him. So that's why I've just always thought that's the team we need to try and get him off. I'm not too sure. Like, I don't know how much. It's a complicated signing, Chiesa. It's a hard one to make. So if you couldn't make it, it is what it is. But I think if you want to go out and definitely get someone who's 100% going to get you numbers, 100% going to be a part of the future plans, I think Chiesa's your man.
I'm bowing down to Ella's knowledge on this. She said that Georgie Kelly from Bowes link with move to England, best player, top scorer, and one player of the year. So there you go.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There's some tasty Dublin derbies, James. I won't lie to you, mate. Rovers, Bowes, Shells, Bowes, St. Pat's. Yeah, there's some tasty derbies in Dublin.
There's just not a lot of money in that league, is there?
No, there isn't.
Because you don't see it being promoted that much.
Well, they did move it a few years ago. They had a very good move. They moved it from being a winter league like it is in England, where it starts in August and ends in May.
Yeah.
They have a summer league now. So the league starts much later. I think it starts towards the end of the year and then goes right through the summer months as well, which has been very good for attracting younger people and families to games and stuff. So that was a good move. But yeah, it does need a lot more investment, but it's getting there. Some nice new stadiums being built, and some new blood in the FAI is much needed. But here we go. I know he's the best defender on the planet, but imagine Van Dijk as a centre mid, said Tony Smith.
Do you want me to tell you what I think you get if you put Virgil centre mid? A Fabinho. They're so similar. They're both great defensively in terms of the way they read the game and their passing. Virgil's a better passer for me. Virgil's passing is up there in the league with any of the best midfielders, but they're both very good passers of the ball and they're so essential to our build-up play. You saw it with Origi's goal. That doesn't happen without Virgil finding that vision. That's a draw if you don't have Virgil at the back. Anyone else, I don't care how good you think Kanate is or Gomez, that he's the man who will get you from A to B. Bring James to Bourse versus Rovers. Yeah, you mad? I'll 100% be there. I'd love to go to a game like that where it's passionate for everyone there. It'd be nice to watch it as a spectator without having any emotion invested into the game. So yeah, I need to come to Ireland soon.
No, we'll
do it.
We'll get you over. We'll vlog that game. Me, you, Connor, Paddy.
Yes.
We'll head up and we'll go to the Bowls.
That'll be amazing.
Rovers derby. That. We'll get that in the books, definitely. I'm looking for any excuse to get the more League of Ireland game. So yes, we'll definitely get James over for that one, Rory, and hopefully we can all meet up. Ella, Rory, everybody else that watches League of Ireland, we'll get Mr. Redmond into a game. And the atmosphere is tasty, mate. I'm not joking.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I really do not doubt you for a second there. Listen, like I said, the Scousers and the Irish go back a long, long way. And with the similarities, that if you have any similarities to a Scouser, then best believe you're going to love a footy match. And if it's a derby, then that's just different gravy, for sure.
There you go. Rovers not beating Bowes in 6 games. Bowes are members-owned club. League runs from March to November. So there you go. Thank you for that, Ella. Again, bound down to Ella's knowledge. She has a finger on the pulse of League of Ireland football.
So is the league just finished?
Just finished, yeah. Just finished.
And it's back up in March?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
We'll get you over in the summer when there's nothing else going on in football, and we'll get you to
I'd love it, lads. The amount of Irish people that...
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get a nice barbecue on the go, whatever, and we'll get you over for a weekend.
No, 100%. The amount of people who have been telling me to hurry up and get to fucking Ireland as well, lads, I need to hurry up and make an appearance, because there's a lot of Irish people in Liverpool and they always say, yeah, we love you over there in Ireland. So listen, I will see you soon, my Irish fans. I will see you soon.
You absolutely will, because we're going to be arranging some end of season meetups over here in Ireland, and you are coming over, as is Chris. And we're getting the gang together and we're hitting the road. It's going to be tasty. It's going to be carnage.
A belter. Yeah, carnage. It's going to be insanity at its finest, and you need to make sure you tune in for it, because the content when I come over is going to be off the charts.
There you go. Ella off the charts. Tickets as well. We love that. We love that.
Oh, that's right, Ella. Why are you the postman or the postwoman? Because you always deliver.
Delivers. We love it.
Always delivers.
Right, last 7 or 8 minutes of the show. We go to the chat and see what people have to say.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I thought we just jumped into that anyway. It was just us and the Anfield Agenda community just having a chat and shit, I like to call it, but with sense as well, of course.
What have we got? Federico Chiesa at Juventus in 2 years. Somebody said. Hannah said, atmosphere on a Friday night is brilliant. Yeah, Friday night is a big night where we have a whole round of games in the League of Ireland. So Friday
Is that
night,
like the Saturday 3 o'clocks?
Yeah, Friday night. So boom, out. There you go. Game and then off into town.
Oh, we love it.
That. We love that. Sligo Rovers on the rise. There we go. Owen McPartland. They are redoing the showgrounds up there as well, which is great to see. Right, some questions here on Liverpool stuff. Where is it? Where's the one I'm looking for? I'm trying to bring it up on screen, but there's a delay between the live chat and when it comes in. Here we go. So William said, what do you guys think about Trent's defensive work this season? In my opinion, it's been very good.
Amazing. Did you see where he covered Van Dijk yesterday? Adama Traore, he made a mistake against Adama Traore, and then Trent came in just about and got there in time. He's been brilliant. His reading of the game, but also the way he's bulked up a little bit. I really do rate Trent's work, because I can't think of a mistake that he made. He got skinned once in the entire match against Wolves. Other than that, I can't think of a mistake that he's made all season. And not on leading to direct goals. There was a couple last season. You can see he's got his head together, and he's realised that you've got to cut out those mistakes to really be the best right back in the world. And this Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back in the world. I don't want to hear about Reece James, because Reece James, what people don't realise in this news, and he is a great fullback, by the way. I think he's the second best fullback in the league by quite a distance. Them two for me. I don't think Kyle Walker talks to them. What's Cancelo? Is he a left back or a right back? If he was a right back, he'd be in that conversation. He's in that conversation as well then.
Well,
otherwise,
no one else chats to. I know the last game it was right back, because I only know this because I had the same confusion as you when I went to check.
Yeah, because some people have said to me he's a left back before, and I'm like, go ahead then, Sam. But anyway, but if you see his average position for Chelsea, he's playing as a right winger. In fact, if you look at the heat maps, he's in very similar positions to what Mo Salah is for Liverpool, even with the track and back side of things. So when people say the back five doesn't help Reece James and his numbers, that's bollocks. And you've been saying that about Trent for years. Trent's not that good because it's the system. So now that Reece James is benefiting off a system, which he is, because he hasn't always been scoring this amount of goals, it's because he's playing right wing. But you call it a right wing back because it's supposed to be like a right side of midfielder, isn't it? But I just think Trent does more work than Reece James. He's got to be up and down the pitch more. And now his defensive game has improved immensely. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's an easy argument, but people like to throw in Reece James all the time.
Well, Bosch wants us to do a match day vlog together. We'll do that for the League of Ireland, but I'm supposed to be over for the Brentford game in January. So
best believe that when you come to Anfield and we're in the same seats or whatever, we'll 100% do a vlog for that game. That'll be a laugh. We'll do a vlog of the full match day, of the experience around Anfield or stuff like that.
Well, I'm over for the Brentford game in January. No, I think we're in the COP for that one. I think Casper got us COP tickets for that. But defo, meet up, say hello, and do a little bit of content live. It's mad that we've got this mad community of people, and a lot of us have never met. That freaks me out. It's mad, like.
Yeah, but you can connect with people. But there's so many people who you don't even have to be the same as them, but you can still love something the same, and then that can bring you closer, and then you learn about each other. That's one thing I'm very grateful for doing YouTube, because you do meet some really, really good people. You know, on this channel, everyone that we work with, Craig, is brilliant. From Steve to friggin' Chris, Paddy, everyone, even Connor, the silent assassin behind the scenes, always doing the business. And yourself, an absolute legend of the game. Someone who doesn't give himself enough credit, by the way. That's one thing I want you to know, Craig. You've built a good community, not just within the people who work on the channel, but also the people who in the chat and the community of Anfield Agenda. And it just shows each day by day that we are fucking massive.
We absolutely
WFM20, if you want to go ahead and get yourself a discount on Manscaped.
Proud to be a small part of it, mate. I really do love the group that we have of contributors and subscribers. It's and we're taking over Twitch now, by the way. We passed 1,000 followers on Twitch today. So
with this community, we'll be smashing Twitch. This community will go right over to Twitch. So honestly, I'm not just saying this to lick everyone's ass. This community is brilliant. Even when I do my own show, I love the chat and like how much they interact with you, all the questions that they ask. It's actually boss. So thank you so much for the support that you show me. At least, do you know what I mean? It's amazing.
You know what? Tomorrow's our favourite show of the week. We get to meet up with Mr. Blandy again, Mr. 6'3".
Oh yeah, that is the best show of the week. I'm not bothered. That
does bits. That show it does great numbers as well. It's a show I look forward to every single week, and I can't believe this hour has flown by so quick.
Isn't it now?
It's turbo. Yeah, it's 58 minutes, 48 seconds. It's absolutely
time
mental.
flies when you're having fun.
It does, but look, you won't have to wait long, folks, because tomorrow, 6:30 to 7:30, myself, Chris, and Paddy will be on Twitch. So make sure you join us for that one for another transfer show. Then myself, James Redmond, and Steve Bland will be live at 8:45 tomorrow, which is going to be bits as well. And then we're going to be doing our little hours filming afterwards, where me and you do our predictions and a few other bits and pieces. So I'm really looking forward to it. But look, it's been so much fun, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support, as always. Thank you to Mr. James Redmond for coming back in. I know you were a little bit unwell over the weekend, so great to see you back to your brilliant best. And get the 59p energy drinks into you, lad. Get them into you.
Yes, you know that. I needed it, to be fair, because I haven't been feeling well over the weekend, as you said. I woke up today feel like with a little bit less energy, so I made sure, got myself a nice little boost.
I love it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leg it off into the Sunday night, but you guys take care of yourselves. We will see you tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, check out James Redmond TV, and we will talk to you soon.
Love you.